Hello, I'm Dr. Vanita Rattan from ACE Medicine, and I'm going to be teaching you today how medical schools use your UKCAT score. The outcomes of this lecture are to teach you how medical schools use your UKCAT score and what their UKCAT cutoffs are. We'll be telling you the medical schools using the BMAT this year and what the BMAT cutoffs are for the BMAT universities. We'll be showing you how competitive various medical schools are based on the applicants to places ratio. This will help you to strategically choose your medical schools. We'll be going through the interview formats for every medical school, and then we'll be telling you where you can get your sources for free guides. So the standard BMAT medical schools are UCL, Imperial, Oxford and Cambridge. And this year, the new medical schools will be Brighton and Leeds. So if you're applying to these medical schools, just be aware that you'll be taking your BMAT to get in. It's also good to know the universities that don't use the UKCAT. So for example, if you don't do very well at the UKCAT, you might want to put some of these medical schools as your choices. So Birmingham, Cardiff, Bristol, Liverpool and Kiel. So the next question might be, how competitive are the non-UKCAT medical schools? Well, the best thing to do is to find out how many applicants there were for last year, how many people were interviewed, how many places there are, and then what the ratio is of applicants to places. So we've done this for you. And as you can see, the last column really is the important column. This will tell you that, for example, for Birmingham, there are about 8 people applying for every place. In Cardiff, there are about 9 to 10 people applying for every place. In Bristol, there are about 13 people applying for every place, etc. So we've shown you from least competitive down to most competitive in this chart. Now for the universities that do use the UKCAT, it's good to know what their cut-off scores were for last year. So we have listed it for you in order of least competitive up to most competitive, just based on the UKCAT score itself. So for example, if you get a total score of 2,500 on the UKCAT score, this is the minimum guaranteed score that you get after attending the ACE Medicine UKCAT course, then these are the medical schools that you would be thinking to apply to. So that's Barts, Hull, York, Exeter and Southampton. Now, considering these are the medical schools you're looking at, you also want to know how competitive they are based on applicants to places ratio. So again, we have filled out the chart for you with number of applicants, number of people interviewed, number of places, and then the applicants to places ratio for last year. And again, we've put it in order of competitiveness. So for example, St. George's is about 7 people applying to every place. Manchester is about 8 people applying to every place. Bart's about 9 people applying to every place, etc. So looking at the universities that we were looking at, that if you get 2,500, so that's Barts, Hull, York, Exeter and Southampton, you would look at this chart and it would show you that Barts has, again, 9 people applying to every place. Hull, York is more competitive and Exeter is more competitive than that, etc. So based on this information, you would probably think Barts and Hull, York are 2 that you would be putting down as potentially a couple of your options. So looking at a couple of the other medical schools, the ones that don't tell you what the specific UKCAT cutoff score is. So this would be Aberdeen. They just say the higher the score, the better. So they don't give you a specific cutoff point. Nottingham actually correlates your UKCAT score to their own in-house scoring system. They don't make it clear what this scoring system is. So again, it's very difficult to gauge strategically whether or not you should be applying there. Edinburgh say that the SJT component of the UKCAT plus your non-academic portion of your UCAS makes up 30% of your application, and then your UKCAT, the rest of the 4 sections, makes up 20% of your application. But again, there's no clear cutoff. And Leicester, they just say that they look at the overall application and the UKCAT score is part of that. So it's difficult to be strategic about these 4 medical schools. The BMAT London universities, UCL and Imperial. So if you're looking to apply to these medical schools, again, it's good to see how competitive they are. UCL has about 7 to 8 people per place. And Imperial has about 6 applicants per place, so Imperial is considerably less competitive. If you look at the BMAT cutoffs, UCL says that the BMAT, together with the application, is how they look at it, but they don't give you a clear cutoff, and about a third of applicants are interviewed. With Imperial, they do give you the cutoff. So Section 1, they're looking for a minimum of 4.5. Section 2, they're looking for a minimum of 4.6. And for Section 3, they're looking for a minimum of 2.5 with a B. So with ACE the BMAT course, we guarantee a minimum score of 11.6 to meet the Imperial cutoff. So we've created 2 tables for you based on the interview styles. These medical schools assess you using the MMI. And we've also written when the interviews take place, so you know when you should start preparing for it. With the MMI, they're different formats. Usually they're about 5 to 7 minutes per station, and there are various different types of questions that they can ask you. The common ones tend to be ethical scenarios, a current news topic, or role play such as breaking bad news, explaining procedure. They may go through a video analysis of a consultation and what medical student did well or what they can improve on. They could ask you to describe a picture. Lester likes to ask you quantitative reasoning questions and also likes to give you comprehensions as well. So each medical school have their own types of questions that they ask you for the MMI. These medical schools are traditional interviews, meaning a panel interview, usually with 2 or 3 people, usually lasts about 20 minutes. And again, we've written down when they interview as well, so again, you know when to start preparing for it. With the traditional interviews, the core topics they test you on are medical ethics and law, the NHS, common medical conditions, current issues, and questions based on your personal statement. ACE Medical School interview course covers all MMI and traditional questions asked, plus they offer a money-back guarantee you get into medical school. Now, strategically, the first thing you need to do is look at your UKCAT score and pick the universities whose minimum requirement that you meet. Of those, choose the universities with the best applicant to places ratio to give yourself the best possible chance of getting in. And if you're better at sciences, then leave at least one space for a BMAT university. BMAT universities, because a lot of people don't apply, purely because they're obviously worried about not knowing what their BMAT score is before applying, it means that there's considerably fewer people applying for the BMAT university. So, for example, for Imperial, there's only about 6 people applying for every place. This in contrast with some of the UKCAT universities, which can go up to 18 people applying for every place. So from a strategic perspective, if you're good at sciences, then it would be a good idea just to save one of your spaces for a BMAT university. You can download free guides from acemedicine.com. So we have 20 personal statements that you can download. You've got guides to the UKCAT, the BMAT, and the interviews. And we've also got guides to life at different UK medical schools. So this is just for your own guidance. We've got several courses that you may be interested in. Students from 95% of the top 200 schools in the UK have gotten into medical school with our courses. We've got ACE UKCAT, which includes 1-day teaching plus an online question bank with 1,800 questions, plus a money-back guarantee you score over 630. We've got ACE the BMAT, which includes a 1-day teaching plus practice questions with a money-back guarantee you score over 11.6. And we've got ACE Medical School interview course, which includes 1 day of teaching plus practice questions and a money-back guarantee you get into medical school if you're given an interview. You can join over 3,000 students who've gotten into medical school with us. You just need to book on acemedicine.com with the promotion code SCHOOL to get a 20% discount. Thank you very much for listening and good luck with your application.